Before you hit send on that emotional text or fire off that impulsive email, pause, take a breath, because starting July 18th through August the 11th, Mercury will go retrograde. And during this time, it's going to be way easier to speak too quickly, to misunderstand others, or make avoidable mistakes, especially when you're not tuned into the energy. But here's the thing. Mercury retrograde doesn't have to be a disaster. Stick with me and I'll show you why it's going to be a lot easier to communicate impulsively during this time, and how to change the way you see Mercury retrograde, and also what this retrograde means specifically for your rising sign. And for parents with teenagers or young adults, I'll give you insight into the themes that might be surfacing for your child during this retrograde so you can support them with greater understanding based on their rising sign. Just hearing the words Mercury retrograde sends some people into a spiral because we've been conditioned to expect chaos, delays, tech breakdowns, and total mayhem. But here's the truth. Mercury retrograde is not out to get you. It's neutral energy, and what you do with it is what truly matters. We are powerful co-creators of our reality. And this retrograde is an invitation. It's not a curse. It's a chance to pause, to reflect, to recalibrate, and reconnect with what truly matters. If you use this time with intention, you can make powerful course corrections that elevate your life. With Uranus now in the sign of Gemini, which is the sign of communication, words can come flying out before we even realize what we've said. And this sudden change amps up impulsivity, especially in how we speak and respond. But if you move through it unconsciously, rushing, reacting, ignoring the signs, yeah, you might hit a few bumps. And I get it. You're probably thinking, but Brandy, I can't control if my flight gets canceled or if my luggage gets lost. No, you're right. You cannot control everything, but you can work with the energy. So, did you double check your itinerary before your trip? Did you pack your air tags or label your bags with your name and address in case they get lost? Did you pause and reread that message, that email, that text before sending it? That's Mercury retrograde magic right there. It's not superstition, it's awareness of the energy that you're working with. So instead of saying, oh no, here comes Mercury retrograde, what am I going to do? Everything's going to fall apart. Try saying, it's Mercury retrograde. It's time for me to slow down, tune in, and upgrade what isn't working. Do you feel the difference in those two approaches? So one response creates stress and resistance, and the other response opens space for alignment and growth. In the rest of this video, I'll walk you through how to use the retrograde to your advantage, and I'll give you specific insights for all 12 rising signs so you can navigate this transit with confidence and clarity. Let's dive in. Hello, Aries Rising. Mercury retrograde will be activating your 5th house, and that's the house of creativity, romance, children, and self-expression. So starting July 18th, Mercury begins its retrograde in the sign of Leo, bringing up opportunities to revisit old creative projects, past romantic connections, or even memories from childhood. You might find yourself reflecting on how you express your unique voice or questioning whether you're fully embracing your playful side. Now, this retrograde may also bring some twists in your daily conversations, technology, or travel plans. Be prepared for miscommunications, delays, or the need to revisit unfinished conversations, especially with siblings or close neighbors. This isn't the time to launch anything new, Aries. Remember that. Instead, Mercury retrograde is asking you to slow down and revise, reflect, and realign with what truly lights you up. You may notice old romantic partners or patterns resurfacing, or creative ideas that you abandoned begging for your attention. So pay attention to miscommunications, especially in love or with your children. They can offer clues to what needs healing or clarity. This retrograde is your chance to clear the way for more authentic self expression. And when Mercury moves direct, you'll be ready to shine brighter, more aligned with your true passions and heart's desires. Your channeled spiritual message is: it's through creativity that you access your truth and express your soul. So take a breath, Aries. This pause is preparing you for your next big leap. Now, for parents of Aries Rising teens and young adults, your child may feel more irritable or misunderstood right now. This retrograde is moving through their fifth house of self-expression, creativity, and play. So they may struggle to articulate their ideas, they might feel rejected by their peers, or they may act out when they don't feel heard. So give them a safe outlet to express themselves, whether that's through art, music, journaling, or dramatic play. Reassure them that it's okay to make mistakes when expressing big emotions. Taurus Rising. Mercury retrograde will be moving through your fourth house of home, family, emotional roots, and inner foundation. So starting July 18th, Mercury's retrograde in the sign of Leo will invite you to reflect deeply on your home life and family dynamics. You might find yourself revisiting your childhood home or past conversations with loved ones or old family patterns that need healing. This is a time to pause before making any big decisions about your living situation, whether it's moving, renovating, or redecorating. Now, beyond your physical home, this retrograde invites you to reconnect with your emotional foundation and how safe and nurtured you truly feel inside. This retrograde could also stir up old money issues or delays in payments or even confusion around purchases and budgeting, as well as making communication a little difficult with your children. But ultimately, Taurus, this retrograde is about coming home, not just physically, but emotionally. So give yourself the space to feel, to process, and to nurture your inner world. When Mercury moves direct, you will have a much clearer sense of what truly grounds you and how to create a home that supports your heart and your soul. Your channeled spiritual message is: be intentional about listening to those around you. Avoid rushing to judgment and instead take the time to clear up misunderstandings with love and patience. For parents of Taurus rising teens and young adults, Mercury retrograde in the fourth house will be a deep emotional cleanse for them, and it will be a time where they are rerouting and reevaluating what home means to them. Your steady, loving presence will mean more than any solution you offer. Taurus rising teens feel safest when their routines are predictable, and Mercury retrograde can bring schedule disruptions. So help them stay centered by sticking to familiar habits when possible. Gemini Rising. Your ruling planet Mercury is going retrograde in your third house of communication, learning, siblings, and your immediate environment. Starting July 18th, this retrograde may bring some twists in your daily conversations, technology, or travel plans. So be prepared for miscommunications, delays, or the need to revisit unfinished conversations, especially with siblings or close neighbors. This is the perfect time to pause before making any big decisions about your living situation, whether it's moving, renovating, or redecorating. You might find old messages, old ideas, or projects resurfacing right now that need your attention or revision. This is the great time to slow down and rethink how you communicate your thoughts and ideas. Remember, Gemini, Mercury retrograde is less about chaos and it's more about reflection and refinement. So clear the clutter in your mind and communication, and you'll come out stronger when Mercury goes direct. Your channeled spiritual message is slow down and practice mindfulness with what you say and do. Think of communication as a bridge and allow it to connect you to other people. For parents of Gemini rising teens, Mercury is their chart ruler and it's retrograding in their third house of communication, siblings, and learning. And Gemini rising teens usually love to talk, to text, and express themselves. But during this retrograde, words can come out wrong or be misunderstood. So they might speak impulsively or they may feel misunderstood by friends or family. So you can model reflective listening. Instead of correcting them too quickly, try and say, I think I understand what you mean, but can you tell me more? This gives them the space to clarify without shutting them down. Cancer rising. Mercury retrograde is moving through your second house of money, values, and self-worth. Starting July 18th, Mercury's backward dance invites you to take a closer look at your finances and what truly matters to you. You might experience some delays or confusion around money matters, whether it's budgeting, payments, or purchases. This isn't the time for big financial moves. Instead, please focus on reviewing and reorganizing. Most importantly, this retrograde is really asking you to reflect on your sense of value, not just in terms of money, but how you see yourself. Old beliefs about your worth may surface for healing and release. Please be prepared for miscommunications, delays, or the need to revisit unfinished conversations, especially with siblings or close neighbors. You may also experience vivid dreams, intuitive flashes, or emotional waves from the past. Old memories, hidden fears, or even spiritual gifts may surface. You may also find yourself reflecting on past jobs, possessions, or skills you once had and want to reclaim. So reconnect with what makes you feel secure, not just on paper, but in your heart. This retrograde, Cancer, is your chance to reconnect with your inner security and build a stronger foundation, not just financially, but emotionally as well. When Mercury goes direct, you'll be ready to move forward with clarity and renewed confidence in your worth. Your channeled spiritual messages reflect on your use of resources and the energy and the way that it manifests in your life, and speak to this energy as if it's your friend, not your enemy. For parents of Cancer rising teens, this transit will activate their second house of self-worth and possessions, and it may trigger doubts such as, am I good enough? Or your teen may feel really sensitive about money, either wanting more freedom with it or comparing what they have to others, or worrying about what something says about them. So use this time to teach healthy money habits without criticism. Encourage budgeting, saving, or journaling about what they value most, not just in terms of possessions, but in life. Leo Rising. This Mercury retrograde is all about you. Starting July 18th, Mercury begins its backward motion right in your first house. That's the part of your chart that rules your identity, self-expression, appearance, and how the world perceives you. So what does that mean for you? You might feel misunderstood, or you may notice that people just aren't getting you the way they usually do. You could be second guessing yourself and the way that you present yourself, from the way that you dress, to how you speak, to how aligned you feel with your personal goals. But don't worry, this retrograde is not here to dull your shine, Leo. It's here to help you refine your light and to really reflect on who you are now and how you want to show up moving forward. So think of it as a cosmic edit button. It's not a setback, but a reset. You might experience some delays or confusion around money matters as well, whether it's budgeting, payments, or purchases. This isn't the time for big financial moves. Instead, I want you to focus on reviewing and reorganizing. You could be revisiting dynamics with friends. You might be feeling out of sync in group settings, or even reconnecting with people, groups, or wishes that you had in the past. Give yourself permission to slow down during this time. You don't have to have all of the answers today. Let this retrograde help you realign with your truth so that when Mercury goes direct, you'll be ready to step into the spotlight with clarity and confidence. You've got this, Leo. Your channeled spiritual message is set the intention to use your words with clarity and to hear others through the lens of grace. Using words as weapons will only leave you feeling weaker. For parents of Leo rising teens, with Mercury retrograde in their first house, they may want to change their hair, their style, or how they present themselves, but it might be impulsive or reactive. So instead of saying no, create space for thoughtful exploration. Ask, well, what inspired this idea? Do you want to try it out in a smaller way first? And support their creative process without letting them make drastic changes they might regret. Virgo Rising. This Mercury retrograde is asking you to go inward, deeply inward. On July 18th, Mercury begins its retrograde journey through your 12th house, which is the most hidden, spiritual, and subconscious part of your chart. This is your time for reflection and restoration. You may feel more introspective, more sensitive to the energy around you, or even more forgetful than usual, and that's okay. Mercury is your ruling planet. So when it goes retrograde, and especially in your 12th house, it's not a call to do more. It's a cosmic invitation to do less and to feel more. You may experience vivid dreams, intuitive flashes, or emotional waves from the past. Old memories, hidden fears, or even spiritual abilities may surface. Also, it may feel like people are misunderstanding you in your professional or career environment. So be aware of that and take the time to clarify your ideas, emails, or any communication that you will have professionally. It's also a powerful time to break unconscious patterns, especially the ones that quietly shape your daily life. Virgo, you don't always give yourself permission to pause, but right now, rest is sacred. And silence, it's where you will experience the deepest clarity. So when Mercury goes direct, you'll emerge lighter, clearer, and more in tune with your spiritual rhythm. Trust the process. Your soul knows exactly where it's going. Your spiritual message is, don't believe every thought that comes to your mind. This is your time to recognize the limiting patterns of your beliefs and then to shift to constructive thoughts that empower you to be your best. For parents of Virgo rising teens, this retrograde lands in their 12th house of dreams, fears, and the subconscious. So when the inner world gets too loud, Virgo rising teens may try to numb out with screens, oversleeping, or shutting down. Others might become hyper self-critical or quietly anxious. Offer grounding tools like breath work, nature walks, calming music, or gentle routines. Help your teen to create emotional structure without judgment. Libra Rising. This Mercury retrograde is spotlighting your 11th house. That's the area of your chart that rules friendships, social networks, community, and long-term dreams. So starting on July 18th, Mercury's backward motion in the sign of Leo may bring up some confusion or miscommunication in your social world. You could be revisiting dynamics with friends, feeling out of sync in group settings, or even reconnecting with people from your past. Maybe there's a friend you lost touch with or a collaboration you walked away from that now comes back around for reflection, closure, or even a second chance. This is also a time to rethink your vision for the future. Are the goals you're working toward still aligned with your heart? Are the people around you truly supportive of your path? This could be a time when you circle back to a class, certification, or creative writing project that you set aside. You may also notice slowdowns or hiccups with travel or legal issues. But this is a meaningful opportunity to release the unconscious habits that silently guide your daily routines. Remember, Mercury retrograde is here to realign you, not to derail you. So if you feel unsure about your place in a group, or you're questioning where your energy is going in the bigger picture, that's your intuition asking for a reset. This is a great time to take stock of where you're headed and who's coming with you. When Mercury goes direct, you'll have more clarity not just about your community, but about the dreams that truly light you up. Your channeled spiritual message is reflect on how aligned your associations are with who you want to be at your highest potential. Will they help you reach that level or stand in your way? For parents of Libra Rising teens, with Mercury retrograde in their 11th house of friendships and group dynamics, things may get confusing. Libra Rising teens usually deeply value harmony in their friendships, but this retrograde could bring fallouts, confusion, or disappointment in social circles. They may feel left out or misread online interactions. Remind them that social dynamics can always shift and that it doesn't mean that they did something wrong. Tell them sometimes people just grow in different directions, and that's okay. But it doesn't mean that you're not loved. Scorpio Rising. This Mercury retrograde is shining a light on your 10th house, and that's the part of your chart that rules career, public image, authority figures, and your reputation. Beginning July 18th, Mercury's backward movement in the fiery sign of Leo might stir up confusion or delays in your professional life, and you may find yourself rethinking your goals or facing miscommunication at work or reflecting on how you truly want to show up in the world. Maybe an old career path resurfaces, something that you thought you'd already left behind, or maybe it's time to revisit a project, a role, or leadership opportunity with fresh eyes. And if you've been putting pressure on yourself to look successful, this retrograde invites you to ask yourself, is this what success means to me? A friendship or partnership from the past may circle back around into your life, not by accident, but to offer insight, resolution, or even the spark of something new. You may experience confusion or slowdowns around shared money matters like taxes, loans, or inheritances. Rather than rushing into financial commitments, try to use this period to reflect and reassess with what truly supports your sense of security. This isn't the best time to launch something brand new, but it is the perfect time to refine your strategy and to strengthen your message. And remember, true authority comes from inner alignment, not outer performance. When Mercury goes direct, you'll be ready to lead with more clarity, more confidence, and purpose. Your channeled spiritual message is slow down and take the time to be intentional with your words and actions. Using this energy haphazardly could leave you feeling vulnerable. Now, for parents, this Mercury retrograde moves through your child's 10th house of responsibility, goals, and public image. And Mercury retrograde in the 10th can make teens feel like they are failing even when they're doing just fine. A small public mistake or a low grade or feedback from a teacher could hit a lot harder than usual. So affirm their effort, not just their achievement. You can say, I see how hard you're working, and I'm proud of you no matter what the outcome is. Sagittarius Rising. This Mercury retrograde is activating your ninth house, which is the realm of travel, higher education, spiritual beliefs, legal matters, and your big picture vision for life. Starting July 18th, Mercury begins its retrograde in the sign of Leo, and for you, that means it's time to pause and to reflect on what you believe in, not just intellectually, but deep in your soul. Maybe you're questioning an old philosophy or spiritual path. Maybe you're revisiting a course, certification, or publishing project that got put on hold. You might even face delays in travel or legal matters, but these are not setbacks. They are sacred pauses meant to realign you with your purpose. Old relationship themes, whether with a partner, colleague, or close connection, may resurface now, calling for your attention and growth. You might be reconsidering your path forward, working through mixed signals at work, or questioning how aligned you feel with your current role or presence in the world. As a Sagittarius rising, you're always reaching for truth and freedom. But during this retrograde, the truth that you're seeking isn't out there, it's within you. What beliefs have shaped your journey up to this point? Which ones are still true, and which ones are ready to evolve? This retrograde is your chance to realign with the wisdom of your own soul. And when Mercury moves direct, you'll be ready to teach, lead, and explore, not just with confidence, but with clarity of purpose. Your channeled spiritual message is take this time to tap into the higher mind and to reflect on your alignment with your highest path. For parents of Sagittarius rising teens, this retrograde affects their ninth house of beliefs, travel, and learning. They may be asking deep questions about religion, meaning, politics, or morality. This can feel uncomfortable for parents, especially if your views differ. Instead of debating, get curious and ask, what part of that idea speaks to you the most? It shows respect while keeping dialogue open. Capricorn Rising. Mercury retrograde is moving through your eighth house, and that's the part of your chart that rules intimacy, shared finances, emotional vulnerability, inheritance, and deep transformation. Beginning July 18th, this retrograde will invite you to take a deep dive, not into action, but into awareness. You may find yourself revisiting old wounds or relationship dynamics, especially those involving trust, boundaries, or power struggles. Joint financial matters like taxes, debts, inheritances, or shared resources could become murky or delayed. This is not a time to rush financial decisions. It's a time to review and reflect. Emotionally, this retrograde may stir up what's been buried, and feelings that you've kept hidden may come to the surface. And it's not to overwhelm you, but it's to be witnessed, healed, and integrated. This retrograde may prompt you to realign your routines, rework your schedule, revisit your health routine, or gently address old habits that have contributed to burnout or avoidance. It could also stir deep reflection around your beliefs or spiritual practices, or bring a previously shelved course or creative project back into focus. Travel or legal matters might also experience slowdowns, nudging you to pause and reevaluate your next steps. Capricorn, you're really known for your strength and your structure, but this retrograde is asking for something deeper. Emotional truth. Not control, but surrender. not progress, but transformation. This is a powerful time to let go of what no longer supports your growth so you can rise stronger, more aligned, and more open to true connection. And when Mercury goes direct, your inner foundation will be stronger than ever. Your channeled spiritual message is setbacks or redirection. Don't force the energy to flow in a way that it's not meant to. Now, for parents, Mercury's retrograde in your child's 8th house can bring up themes of control, privacy, or deep emotions. And they may get more secretive, more intense, or need to revisit difficult feelings and issues involving joint finances, like allowance, borrowing, or sharing, could arise. There may also be confusion or tension around fairness or boundaries. So use this time to teach financial empowerment. Talk about boundaries with money, how to save, and how to ask for what they need without shame. Aquarius Rising. Mercury retrograde is lighting up your 7th house, and that's the part of your chart that rules relationships, partnerships, contracts, and one-on-one dynamics. Starting July 18th, Mercury begins its retrograde in the bold sign of Leo, bringing your closest connections into focus. This is a powerful time to revisit conversations, patterns, or unresolved issues in your partnerships, whether romantic, business, or personal. You may hear from someone from your past, or you might find yourself rethinking the agreements, expectations, or boundaries that you've set with others. This isn't about drama, it's just about clarity. And Mercury is giving you the chance to reflect before you respond. This retrograde might resurface an old romance, it might reignite a creative passion that you once set aside, or it might even stir up tension with your children if you're a parent. It's a time to reflect on how you express yourself and what truly brings you joy, and whether your current creative outlets are aligned with your inner fire. At the same time, shared financial matters like taxes, debts, inheritances, or joint accounts may feel unclear or delayed. Instead of making impulsive money decisions, use this period to step back, reassess, and realign with what truly supports your long-term security. Aquarius, you're really future-focused and you're fiercely independent, but this retrograde is asking you to slow down and look at how you relate. Are you communicating clearly? Are your needs being met? And are you listening to others in return? This retrograde is a mirror, and what you see in your relationships now is offering insight into what's ready to shift so connection can deepen, not dissolve. And when Mercury goes direct, you'll be ready to move forward in your relationships with more understanding, harmony, and self-awareness. Because the future that you're building, it begins with the quality of the connections you keep. Your channeled spiritual message is seek first to understand, then to be understood. For parents of Aquarius rising teens, this transit will activate their 7th house of relationships and one-on-one dynamics. Now, Aquarius rising teens often value independence, but this retrograde may pull them into deep relational tension, especially with best friends, romantic interests, or people they were once close to. So don't minimize their feelings. Teens often feel relationship changes very deeply. You can say, it's okay to outgrow some connections. You're allowed to reevaluate who belongs in your inner circle. Pisces Rising. Mercury retrograde is moving through your 6th house, and that's the area of your chart that rules daily routines, work, health, habits, and service. Starting on July 18th, Mercury's backward motion in the sign of Leo may stir up delays or confusion around your schedule, your work environment, or your wellness routines. This retrograde is here to help you re-examine how you manage your energy. Are you pouring too much into others and not enough into yourself? Are your daily habits truly supporting your long term well being? You may need to revisit your workflow or reorganize your schedule or even address some old patterns around overworking, burnout, or avoidance. This retrograde offers a meaningful opportunity to revisit important recurring dynamics or unresolved emotions in your close relationships, whether those are romantic, professional, or deeply personal. You might even find yourself drawn back to your childhood home or reconnecting with memories or family members or long standing patterns that are ready to be seen and healed. It's a wise time to hold off on major home decisions like moving, renovating, or redecorating until you've had the space to gain clarity and emotional insight. And remember, the sixth house also relates to being of service. So it's also a great time to ask, am I serving from a full cup or from depletion? And when Mercury moves direct, you'll be in a much better position to rebuild your rhythms with more clarity, purpose, and ease. Because Pisces, when your spirit is aligned with your structure, that's where the magic happens. Your channeled spiritual message is revamping your routines and structure could lead to amazing results in your life. For parents of Pisces rising teens, Mercury will be retrograding in their sixth house of routines, health, and responsibility. They may need to redo assignments or reorganize notes or reframe their approach to work. It can feel frustrating, but it's a part of the process. Help them to break big tasks into smaller, manageable steps and to celebrate progress, not perfection. Thanks so much for watching and diving deep into Mercury retrograde with me. Remember, this isn't a time to fear or dread. It's a powerful invitation to slow down, to reflect, and realign. And by understanding how Mercury retrograde affects you personally, especially through your rising sign, you can navigate its challenges with grace and even use its energy to level up your life. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could use a little Mercury retrograde clarity. And if you want personalized guidance, don't hesitate to reach out for a one-on-one consultation. I'd love to help you make the most of this cosmic season. Stay curious, stay grounded, and remember, you're the co-creator of your reality. Until next time, keep shining your unique light.